seeing her go through this, did you go to a dark place? Like, because of you of course, you're feeling helpless because you want to help your wife.
Yeah.
And you're seeing her suffer.
Yeah. Yeah, it hurt a lot. I couldn't even tell you what my thoughts were. I honestly think like I have a lot of like mental work to do on it and probably like need to go through therapy for it, because she's not the first person in my life that something like this has happened to. Like it happened to my dad too. In 2020, like he had like over 3 strokes, and like now he's in a wheelchair and all that stuff, and he can't function like a normal human being. So this was like the second person in my life, like really close to me, that this happened to. And I was just like, okay, God, like I'd been through it with my dad already.
And then you're reliving it again.
Yeah, but there was a grace in it because I knew everything was going to be okay. Like my father should not be living today. When you look at, and that's a whole different story, but like when you look at everything that he went through, and everything's okay. Like, it's not like he's still suffering. Like, my mother is still taking care of him full time. But we got through that really, really dark time where we were those families, and Kelly was with us through it all. Like, just sitting outside the window that you saw on the news outside the hospital because we couldn't be with our loved one. We got through that. So I was just like, God, I know you can get us through this, but I can't see how, but I know there's a way. And it was the same thing with our finances, and it still is. Like, God, I couldn't see like how we were going to pay for her medical bills, or pay for, like, she needs a special diet, right? And like how we're gonna be able to afford that and all that stuff. Like at points in time, like I was thinking, like, do we need to file for bankruptcy? Like I'm 25 and I'm thinking about filing for bankruptcy, right? And all these things, and feeling like I have no one to turn to except our Lord. And I just felt like there's no other option but to rely. And we pick words for the year, or phrases, and she's chose Talitha Kum from the Bible, which is, I'm going to paraphrase, little girl, get up and rise, from Jesus bring up, was it the scribes? I think it was the scribe's daughter. Probably wrong with that. My word was rely. And we have relied. We are still relying. When I talk about our finances, I mean, there's been times where I'm just like, I'm gonna have to file for bankruptcy next month or something, or like like it's gonna get more screwed up. And then the Lord's like, here's this last minute thing. Merry Christmas. Praise me. You're gonna be fine. Last minute. Every month, whether it's with her health, with the baby, with our finances, with like how we're gonna do whatever. Every time there has been something that has gotten us to the next place, and it has been our Lord. It's not mere coincidence at all.
God's just throwing you a lifeline every single time you think that
and
it's...
I'm just like, okay, I don't want to be on the lifeline anymore, God. I'm done. I'm done with the lifeline, but obviously you have greater plans and things that we can't see. Like, I can't tell you how, like, we're full-time on our own still. With like, you know, the freelance stuff and all, and music and all of that. I can't tell you, like, I've been okay with the possibility of quitting, of laying it all down. So, because like there's an innate thing that men have to provide for the family, right? You could probably speak to this as a husband and father yourself. And the desire to provide came much more once she got pregnant, because I'm like, oh gosh. It's not like I'm out here living a pipe dream, right? Like I'm applying for jobs. I'm not getting anywhere. And the Lord was just like, no, I still want you to do this. I'm still going to provide through this, even if you cannot see a possible way. It's going to come from a place that you possibly can't even imagine. And the things that have occurred have been so magical and amazing, but there's been so much anxiety, so much hurt, so much fear, so much, like even depression. Like I didn't even talk to any friends, for probably about 6 months. Like, we had friends reach out, some of my best friends in the world reach out, and I just didn't respond. And I've told one recently, I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry I haven't responded to you. I didn't respond to you during that time. Because like all I could think about was like, Kelly, there's so much to do. Like we take care of her, like just dealing with stress, and trying to take care of my own mental health somehow, some way, trying to have a prayer life. Like, oh my gosh, how important is that in this? So yeah, like talk about relying on the Lord. It's been a journey, and it still is.
Of course.
It
Something
still is.
though that's interesting to note is through all of this, right? I couldn't be there at all for Abraham.
Oh yeah, of
And
course.
he was having to be there for me. So there was like a transition time where he would come to me with like his own processing of going through all this. And I couldn't be there.
Yeah.
And then he would like try to express how he was feeling, or like just how like he needed his own like little cry session, and it was like I couldn't because of like not knowing what was going on, or like not being able to process it, or being in so much pain. And there would be multiple days where Abraham's like, I just need someone to hug me.
Yeah.
I just need a hug. And I couldn't even give
You couldn't
him
even
a
touch
hug.
him. Yeah.
No. And so like and so there was just friends and family that one way Abraham processed all this was like just cutting everyone off. And they got to the point where it was like, we still need people. Like, yes, like this is difficult, but we can't do it by ourselves. And we had to get to a point where we like I had to tell him, I was like, or me too. I was like, we just need to remind ourselves like these people still love us. They're still going to be here at the end of the day. And when we have the energy, we just need to like say, hey, please pray for me today. You know?
Because sometimes you can get caught in your own head in everything that's going on with yourself that you totally forget about other people.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. Like I talk about my dad, like I was so zeroed in on like Kelly, like I don't know. I couldn't tell you if I really had the ability to go help, because we live like 20 minutes away from my parents. They lived in Missouri City. I couldn't tell you if I like had the ability to go help more or not, but like I can tell you I didn't really. Like I helped maybe twice. And like, you know, it's really, really tough on my mom, but like she's done her best to like be understanding of it. Like, no, you have a sick spouse too. Like that's a level where like the talk about healing that's come through this, like healing a relationship with my mother in a way. And just like we've gone through the same thing. Like there's a grace that came from Kelly's suffering that I got to understand my mom's suffering and taking care of her spouse.
That's amazing.
You know, and like there's a lot of like family things that I won't get into right now. From me and my parents and living as an only child that's found faith, right? But it's just like my mom's faith has grown, and I've seen that as well. And again, just that greater understanding, which I don't think I would have obtained without this situation.
Wow.
As terrible as it is, and I don't think I don't wish it for Kelly or anybody, because we talk about it, but you don't none of us in this room could possibly understand what she went through.
Yeah.
It was just straight like hell. It was absolute hell on earth for her.
That's amazing how you could relate with your mom and what she's going through. Wow.
Yeah, I don't even think that's something I've told her. Yeah, probably should.
Maybe she's realized it too.
Yeah.
You know? Wow.
Yeah, but again, that's where I think that level of understanding from zeroing in came into play from her. And then again, like from other men, well, there's one in particular, one of my really good friends, Bradley. He's the one that I told, like, hey, dude, I'm sorry. You reached out so many times to me. I'm so sorry. And he's like, dude, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, if it was my wife, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, would I be more annoying than him in reaching out? Like, yeah, I would. I would have like ended up on his front door for sure, been like, hey, dude, I'm helping you today. What can I do?
Yeah.
And not that he wasn't gonna do that or anything, but like the grace that comes from good friends and understanding. It wasn't it's not a toxic friendship or anything like that.
It's tricky too as a friend. It's like, I want them to know that I'm here, but I don't want to overstep, they've got things going on, so I don't want them to have to worry about me, things like that.
I don't know about you, but I would get text message after text message of like, I just want to know how you're doing. I want an update, but I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, just like give me some grace if I don't reply for like 3 or 4 months, or I send it to Abraham to like reply.
And then I wouldn't.
But we had a really good support system.
Yeah,
we have a really good support system.
Mm-hmm.
And we, like for me in particular, I had 2 or 3 women that are like 20, 30 years older than me that have really taken me under their wing and become like second moms or like older sisters in that way of like, hey, like, I haven't gone through what you're going through, but I've gone through something difficult. And I would just want you to know that I'm here for you, and them knowing how to reach out to me in that way and just text me like randomly and be like, hey, I'm praying for you. This is what like I'm praying for. Like if you have anything else, like let me know. If not, like whenever you get a chance.
Yeah.
So our like support system hasn't left us, even though like we stopped replying to them at certain
they'd
times.
Understand. I think people would understand.
And that's just so beautiful. And then it reminds me, okay, like I need to be better at that when I see somebody else, like a friend in a situation.
Right.
What would y'all say to, like, let's say there's a young couple that's going through something similar. What advice would you give them?
Take the help. Like when people offer to help you, take every ounce of help that you can. And then like for the person who's not sick, Kelly made it so clear. I felt so freaking guilty. She made it so clear you need to have one thing a day that's yours that you can decompress with. And for me, like I'm big into CrossFit and working out, and like that's just how I decompress, like outside of prayer. And even like prayer can be anxious at times, right? Read the saints. So take the help, and then like it's okay to take time away for your own mental health, because then you need to be able to recharge so you can give fully to that person that you're taking care of. This is not just for spouses. This is for caretakers in general. You absolutely need to recharge, to give fully. That doesn't mean you take a day away or whatever, but that means you can take an hour, find that one thing, or like a few hours